Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Droid Life Show, episode 60 tonight. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, Tim, Kyle, Ron. Everybody say hi real quick.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here.
Hey, this is Ron.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
So Tim and I have returned from San Francisco yesterday, where we spent plenty of time with the freshly announced LG G3. So no more leaks, no more speculation about processor and RAM and whatever you guys want to talk about. It's official. The LG G3 is available today, actually, in Korea, and it will be here this summer, this year. I think that's all the carriers in the U.S. would tell us. This year, and I think AT&T, all they said was this year, and somebody else said this summer. Anyways, it's official. We have official specs. The 5.5-inch Quad HD display is confirmed. The Snapdragon 801 is also confirmed. 3 gig of RAM as well, or 2 gig of RAM, depending on how much internal storage you get. 13 megapixel camera with laser autofocus, 3,000 milliamp hour removable battery. Those are kind of the big things. Oh, the metallic skin. It's a skin. So no, I think people have been asking this, right, Tim? Is the phone metal? And no, it's not metal. It's plastic. It just has a sort of brushed metal-looking skin, and it's not glossy. It's not a fingerprint magnet from what we could see. So yeah, the specs are pretty much what we thought. So we all thought Snapdragon 805 for a while, and then as we got closer and closer, that went away, and Snapdragon 801. So we'll talk about that in a second. Again, we don't know pricing for US. We don't have specific dates for the US. But we know that everyone will carry it, so Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, and then Best Buy is apparently going to sell it too. I believe Sprint has the exclusive on the gold version. There's also going to be white versions, and I think they're calling the dark version black, but it's really just charcoal gray, gunmetal gray. So, yeah, it's official. We spent some time with it. Do you guys want to just share thoughts on the G3? Tim, you were there with me yesterday. Let's give your thought. I mean, I know you wrote them down in plenty of words yesterday, but let's get your thoughts now.
I can translate to spoken word. So, man, I've been thinking about the G3, for quite some time. I really liked last year's G2, and I've always said it was kind of like, well, I haven't always said, because I didn't really notice it until people started mentioning it. But the G2 was a rather underrated device.
Very, yes.
And I thought it was really good. So I was excited for the G3, and once we started hearing this Quad HD and all these like souped up specs, I was like, oh yeah, this could be good. So turns out, it has Quad HD, and I looked at it for the first time yesterday, and one of the ladies there who were doing the hands-on stuff, she showed me this video, and she was like, get your face like right in it, like immerse yourself. And I was like, okay, so I immersed myself.
Get up in there.
Yeah, and I was like just trying to see pixels or something. You can't see anything. It's so clear and crisp, and so I just instantly fell in love with the display, and then I picked it up, and I noticed that it wasn't too heavy. And it actually wasn't too big for having a 5.5-inch display. I know that number threw me and Kellen off at least, because we were like, oh, it's just a tiny too big, because we've seen other 5.5-inch phones that are just way too big. Even the Xperia Z2, that's only 5.2-inch, and that thing is just way too big. So it's easy to mess up the ergonomics of something when you have to wrap a body around a 5.5-inch display. So let's say like the OnePlus One, that phone is way too big. It's too tall or something, or it's too wide. There's something about that phone that where in my hand it just doesn't feel right. But the G3 felt right. It's just how many times you feel something right. Like the Moto X feels right. The M8 does not feel right. So I don't know. It's hard to explain, but so far from what I could tell, the G3 was really nice. I'm really looking forward to review units to start shipping out, so I can finally get my hands on it and play with that camera. And so far, I'm really pumped on it. So, but I don't want to sound like too much of a fanboy. I want to be subjective. I mean, objective. Either way.
Yeah, right.
I want to be fair to everybody, and so I'll do my best to keep the fanboy down to a minimum.
2 questions for you, Tim.
Please.
Which display do you think is better, the G3s or the Galaxy S5s?
That's a good question. I mean,
I mean,
the Galaxy S5 has a fantastic display. Resolution aside, I mean, because even on the GS5, I can't immerse myself and see pixels or anything like that. I mean, that's a fantastic display. But the GS5, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. You know, I didn't have much time with the G3, so you know, on the skin side of things, I would, and not skin as in like the OEM skin, but just you know,
surface.
on the surface side, I would have to say the QHD is looking pretty awesome, but it's hard to tell.
Okay, and what about those bezels? How thin are
Oh
they?
God, bezels are so good. It's so great. It just looked so cool in your hand, seeing like it's just pure display. It was almost as if there were no bezels, just that top little bit. I mean, you know, a very minimal bottom bezel too. But Kellen would probably agree. I think the bezel was just about right. So on the G3.
Yeah, it's kind of. So you guys know I hate giant phones. I've made that clear that the bigger is better idea is definitely not something I subscribe to. This phone though, because there's no wasted space. Now it's still big. It's huge. I mean, it's bigger than the Galaxy S5. It's bigger than the One M8. It's bigger than the Z2. Well, it wasn't as tall as the Z2, I don't think. Which is actually something that they could brag about. It actually makes a difference when you're holding a phone how tall it is. But it's huge, right? But holding it like because it's just all display and it's so beautiful and glowing and like in your face, like you want to hold it and touch it. And they've done some things with the ergonomics on the back. I can't remember the terminology they use for the design. Like what they call it, floating arc or something like that.
Floating arc, yeah.
That's what it was, the floating arc design. But it's one of those phones that just feels like it sits in your hand just right. I couldn't say that for the Galaxy S5. The One M8 feels good in hand because it has that perfect curve, I think, to it in the back. The One M8's kind of too tall and awkward at times, but it kind of has that same curve. So if you have a One M8, you'll kind of know the feel of the G3 because it just kind of is similar. But even though this phone is huge, and I said in a post yesterday as well that I'm just looking forward to spending time with it to see if I can get over the fact that it's that big. Like it's one of those phones you want to see if you can get over the size, just because it's all display. That camera seems like it has real good potential. We'll have to test like performance and things like that because we don't really know how that big old QHD display is going to work. But yeah, we saw a lot of good things yesterday. Tim and I both came out of there going, "Give us the white one. Give us the white one."
Give us the white one.
Kyle, so you got a G2 now. Did you see anything yesterday that makes you want to upgrade, or are you now not wanting to? Or are you on the fence? What did you come away from yesterday now that everything's official?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not as concerned about the weaker processor, I guess you could say, as I was.
Processor. Okay, I'm just trying to. Okay.
Well,
we talked about this, and you said that the 801 was a deal breaker, and you just didn't want it.
Yeah, well, I've kind of backed away from that position now. I realized it was a little extreme. And the 805 was not going to happen because it turns out that needs to be paired with a modem, and I just don't think that's a lot of OEMs are doing that right now. They're going to wait until the next completely integrated Snapdragon. I forget what it is, the 810 and the 808 or something like that.
808, yeah, it's 808 and
next year. Yeah. So 801 was inevitable. I don't know, as long as the optimizations LG was talking about are there and they're not just some marketing BS, then it could be all right. I still don't think QHD is necessary. I think it probably looks amazing, but I'm happy with 1080p. I do like the improved design a lot. The G2 is nice in the hand, but I think a curved design would be much more comfortable. And I was a little concerned about the size too, but I saw Kellen's hands-on video, and it really doesn't look that difficult to use with one hand. I thought it would be a lot tougher. So I'm pretty good with my G2 right now, but if I could upgrade, I probably would. But who knows, by the time I can upgrade, there'll probably be a G4 and G5, so...
A G3 Prime, or whatever
Yeah,
whatever the rumors are now, yeah.
Dear Lord. Stop with the Prime.
Seriously, stop with the prying people.
Yeah.
Ron, you love small phones. Does this giant Quad HD do anything for you? Was there anything that stood out? Like maybe the camera sounded awesome, or maybe the 1 watt speaker. Is that what it was? A 1 watt speaker?
1 watt speaker.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything you see yesterday get you a little excited for the world of Android?
Hell no.
Well, I'm always excited about the world of Android. It's just OEMs need to do a better job, is all.
That's true.
So I'm not. I don't
Did
particularly.
LG do a better job?
I think this device looks a lot better than the G2. I was not a fan of the G2. I still don't love the look. It's improved. It's refined. So I don't like having the buttons on back or anything else. Like those kind of things. Like that stuff bothers me. I don't think the software looks great. Again, it's a slight improvement over what LG had before, which was kind of basically a copy of TouchWiz before. So they're improving there in terms of them copying from Google instead. So that's exciting, I guess. But the camera was probably the most interesting thing, is just seeing if using the laser like that is helpful or not. Like I was saying before the show started, I'd love to see a manufacturer either do something closer to what Nokia is doing, or at least like giving users more control over aperture and shutter speed and things like that, because that's what really everybody keeps talking about. Low light, like that's like the big thing. Like, oh, you can shoot great photos in low light, which I guess everybody thinks everybody's constantly partying or something. Like I don't know who's taking all these low light photos, but
I don't know either. I feel like everyone's building phones for club kids.
It's strange, but it's like the thing about that is like, okay, if you want to make a big deal about that, the best way to do that is to say, hey, we're going to come out with a phone that gives you control over these things. It gives you control over ISO and aperture and shutter speed. Like those are the things that make a difference. Have that built into the camera, make it super easy, and not make it some crazy mode like Samsung does. Just make it something that's really easy to do, so that if you want to like take a shot of the night sky, you can set the shutter speed to go really long. Or whatever,
does the average person want to mess with that kind of thing? I mean, I feel like most people just want to take a shot and be done with it, and just hope it turns out okay.
Most people do, but if you're gonna BS people saying that your camera is a lot better than the competitors, then that's a way to make it very clear and obvious in a way that even camera snobs can appreciate and say, well, okay, it's not better than my DSLR or even my mirrorless camera, but it does at least give me the controls that I want, and gives you an actual way to do that, as opposed to just using third-party apps to try and hack your way through it.
Well, I think OIS is a genuine innovation, and it does help when filming video, I found.
Yeah, I wasn't saying it wasn't an innovation. Like, that's been in cameras for a while, but in terms of giving people controls, like that's a lot more interesting to me. But we'll see if maybe the laser helps with quicker autofocus. That is an issue that needs to be addressed, but it just seems like it's minimal improvements over the G2. If I'm a G2 owner, I'm not clamoring to get a G3.
Even for that Quad HD.
Come on, bro, Quad.
Definitely not for the Quad HD.
Quad HD.
Quad.
We need to see some battery tests, honestly.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of question marks, right? Like, is the camera really good? Is the laser autofocus, does it even make a difference other than in low light, which I think we're all sort of on the same page there. Like, why is low light such a big damn deal? We want to test battery life. It's got a 3,000 milliamp hour removable battery, but how is that going to handle a Quad HD display? So there's things like that. Is the Quad HD display actually any good, or is it just the first and maybe the colors on it are terrible? We don't really know. So there's things like that. Is LG's UI any better than it was before? Is it just flat now? When you flip through it, it looks like it's pretty much the same. It's just flat. So, well, there's things like that. We'll see performance, obviously, with the GPU pushing on that Quad HD display. So, like Tim and I were talking, we'll do some big zooming tests. Tim will.
Oh yeah. About what you were saying, with the Quad HD. I mean, there's still, the problem is you still need the content to to consume on a quad HD. I mean, say even I was trying to tell you yesterday, I was like, I just want to watch YouTube videos on it. But then it's like, oh wait, none of these YouTube videos I watch are in quad HD.
No, they're not.
I would be stuck watching Marquez Brownlee videos if I wanted to watch anything in 4K on this phone, and because he's like the only YouTuber I know that's doing 4K right now.
And not consistently either.
Not too consistently, but consistently enough. Anyways, and yeah, so you just need the content. None of the games I'm going to play are, built to, showcase a QHD display or anything like that. So I think it's young. The technology is young. We give it time to grow. We nurture it, and hopefully it comes with time. But yeah, again, that was all I had to say. Oh, and the camera with the autofocus, when we were trying it yesterday, I didn't notice anything, when you tap to focus, it didn't seem like it was really all that fast. I mean, I couldn't tell the difference between that and, say, a Galaxy S5 autofocus, which is quite fast, too.
Right.
I wasn't overly impressed.
Is the fastest, right? Doesn't Samsung claim their autofocus is the fastest?
It was the fastest, but now LG's is apparent, reportedly, or theirs.
Yeah, at least in low light or something.
Yeah, and it's only like a 0.025 millisecond difference. I mean,
but it's a laser.
Yeah, I didn't really. They were showing us all these like little things where they had like this tunnel, this terribly lit little tunnel thing, and it had like the G3 logo or whatever. And they were like, and they had an S5 there, except they had to cover it up so people didn't like know it was an S5. Either way, they had an S5 and the G3 next to each other, and they were doing the autofocus, and I mean, it didn't really seem all that bad. The only problem was you had to tap on the screen for the S5 to focus. They had like the auto type stuff turned off where it wasn't sensing anything, but I'm sure if you tapped it,
yeah,
it would have focused just fine. I think LG is trying to play games.
They were playing games.
Yeah, so a lot to be said about the G3.
Yeah, I think it's probably a device. I don't know. So Tim and I both spent plenty of time with the Galaxy S5 and One M8. I don't know that we loved either of them. Well, I think it's safe to say that we definitely didn't love the Galaxy S5. The One M8 we're both using right now, but I think we're both planning to switch to the G3 once it's available, at least for a while. And then we'll obviously be looking forward to the new Moto X. But it's, I guess like Tim just said, like nothing's ready for Quad HD, so it's kind of cool to say like you have a Quad HD. I don't know that content, games, anything's all that ready. Hopefully the batteries are ready for it. It's kind of one of those phones that I'm excited about because it's something, at least LG's trying to like push limits a little bit, and Samsung, played it so safe with the Galaxy S5. So that's something. But again, it's just one of those things where we need it in hand for an extended period of time to really go through all of this stuff. I get the feeling some people are fairly excited about it, though. We ran a poll that said, "Are you buying the phone?" which we do after just about every announcement. And, 20%, 22% said yes. Another 31% said they're still deciding. So if you think about, the people, a bunch of people probably own Galaxy S4, 5, HTC One, M7, M8. They've bought phones recently or Notes. So, at least a quarter of our readers are actually planning on picking up the G3 after just seeing that announcement. That's actually a decent-sized number. So anybody here? No, Kyle, you're not. We know Ron's not. And Tim and I are just going to review the thing, and then we'll decide. Yeah, tough to tell. A lot of stuff going on with the G3.
We'll just have to see if the HTC One Prime is any good. M8 Prime.
If it looks like that thing we saw from EvLeaks, I don't want it.
Right. Why the protruding camera?
Well, so Tim and I were joking a little bit yesterday. So here's the regular one, M8. In the G3, right, there's no bezel other than the chin, and then there's a little bit up top. And, they tuck all the sensors and stuff in up top, and they still manage to have no bezel whatsoever. And then that one M8 Prime thing, like they had to create a separate black bar at the top of the device to put all the sensors or something in. But that phone is going to be the tallest, most awkward phone the world has ever seen. While I get they have their boom sound speakers. While LG's putting 5.5-inch displays in devices that are the same size as like the Z2, HTC is just going to keep getting bigger and taller. It's going to be so awkward. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, we also noticed it in the comments. A bunch of people were talking about lag. Did I address this already? That everyone thought there was maybe lag on the devices. The ones that Tim and I tested, we saw zero lag. So I don't know who had a video or was reporting that there was lag on the device, but Tim and I saw none. We thought the performance was just fine. So let's see.
People be hating.
Yeah. And then I guess we're all sort of disappointed in the fact that we don't know when the phone's coming out. Now I know, Samsung, they took a month or two to get the Galaxy S5 out, but for the fact that LG is making the phone available today already in Korea, but they have no idea when it's coming to the U.S. other than this summer, it's kind of disappointing. That could be 2 months, 3 months.
Could be next week.
Yeah, I guess it could be. Well, no, because summer is not next week, right? When does summer officially start?
June 22nd?
Yeah.
Is that really what it is?
I think it might be.
June 21st, according to Google.
Oh man, that was close. I just had like some Rain Man type stuff going on. I was like, oh, anyways, I forgot what I had to say.
Well, T-Mobile's running that contest.
That's what I was
thinking. Until the 28th, right? So the earliest it could be on T-Mobile is the 29th, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, with all these carriers and the renders for carriers already showing up, I just want to say it's sooner rather than later. Maybe that's just because I really want the phone and I hope it comes soon. But I feel like it might be soon. Mid-June, late June, that's what I'm hoping for.
That'd be
those
nice.
Verizon logos are beautiful, aren't they?
Oh, those Verizon. Yeah, the dual Verizon logos.
I'm going to take off the display so I can etch out the one on the front. And then I'll put the display back on, or the glass,
I'd rather have like a piece of duct tape over the Verizon logo than the front Verizon logo.
Yeah.
Well, the back is removable. You could get rid of that one, I guess.
That is true. Yeah, since Verizon, that's one of the good things. Verizon didn't mess with the rear button arrangement like they did on the G2.
Oh my God, they made it so much worse.
Yeah, the Verizon G2 button arrangement is terrible compared to the regular G2. So they apparently didn't mess with it in the G3, which is nice. So yeah, I don't know. Any other things about the G3? Like yesterday was G3 overwhelming day. Now I kind of am just sitting back going, all right, send us a review unit if we get one, since there's like Korean units floating
just gonna have to buy one from Korea.
Not doing that. So all right, well, we can move out of there. G3. I can't even tell you a date. It's kind of crap, but whatever.
Sucks.
It does.
Definitely can't tell you a price.
No, it
Although
definitely
it will
no
be
prices.
$299 on contract, I guarantee it.
You think it'll be $299 on contract?
Oh yeah.
That would be rough. It better be $199.
What did the G2 debut at?
$199.
I think $199. Yeah. We haven't seen a phone $299 in a while. Well, no, the Note 3 was probably.
All the Notes are always $299.
That's right.
Because they're phablets. Sorry, but
Death of the phablet.
I don't know. I think
T-Mobile.
they would be able to
T-Mobile calls it a phablet actually on their contest page. Sorry.
Oh really?
Did they really? Yikes.
Yeah. Somebody pointed it out in the comments.
I feel like
phone
this phone,
phablet or something.
Yeah, I feel like this phone just has the specs where a carrier could be like, oh yeah, we're jacking this one up, but or if you sign up to buy something like a tablet at $50 off, the market's at $299 or $199 or something like that. Who knows, But they have their tricks.
Do you think they'll sell both the 16 gigabyte and 32 gigabyte models in the U.S. or just the 32?
That's also a really good question.
I'm guessing just the 32 gigabyte. I hope. I think everyone will want. Look, if bigger is better, then I think everyone will want the 3 gig RAM and 32 gig storage. It's just my guess, but
I don't think that's a very fair thing to do, to only offer the one. Say, for example, they only offer the 16 gig or 2 gig. Okay, and then you have to deal with the people who don't know what you might be getting. Like, say when you're buying an iPhone, the only thing you got to choose is the color and the amount of storage you want. I hear this could directly affect performance of the device. Say if you only got 2 gig versus 3 gig or something like that. And the average consumer may not know that. They'll just be like, oh, I just want more memory, or I'll only need less memory. I don't think it's very fair to the average consumer.
I guess I don't understand. I'm not a RAM guru by any means, but internal storage should have absolutely nothing to do with RAM. Why did they decide that there should be, if you doubled the internal storage, you add a gig of RAM? That just doesn't make sense to me.
I think
Anybody
it
have any
probably has
insight
to
on that?
do with RAM prices, if I had to guess. It's just too expensive to justify on the lower capacity model. I don't know, though, for sure.
It's just super weird.
RAM prices have gone up a lot lately. I don't know. But, I mean, yeah, RAM is pretty much the same across platforms. I mean, I think there are differences between, obviously, desktop RAM and mobile RAM, but on a fundamental level, I believe they're similar. So maybe the price increases are affecting the mobile RAM.
Yeah, I don't really get it. It's odd.
Or it's just that if somebody's going to go for the lower end, then they can make a lot more profit off of that.
True. Higher margin.
That's probably what it is.
That is
Now
probably
Rob's
what it is,
got it.
and that's unfortunate. Because I would pay $50. It'd be nice to pay $50 less to get 16 gig of storage, since there's a micro SD card slot, and get 3 gig of RAM. But thanks LG for taking that option away. Yep.
Project Aura is the answer.
Yeah, Project R.
I must be the only one who doesn't care about that. I might be.
I don't think you're the
Well,
only
me and Ron.
one.
Me and Ron probably do.
Yeah, come
But
on.
we're the only.
I don't care about anything.
I know. I can tell from the comments or from the chat that you
Yeah.
hate everything.
I hate everything and everyone.
Oh, you're such a hater.
For everyone.
Everything but Apple.
Yeah. I think Ron he's a good guy. His head's in the right place. Or
He's
his
a
heart's
good
in the
guy.
right place at least.
Ron is a good guy.
Cut him
Just
some
hates
slack.
everything. Speaking of Apple, so we're moving on from G3, by the way. So Apple is officially buying Beats. It's official today. Dr. Dre, first billionaire. Compton.
Make it rain, Dre. That's so great.
Actually, I saw somebody break down his what his share will be, and it ends up being like 800 million. So he's not really the first
Maybe.
billionaire.
Yeah.
But yeah,
1.3
that's
with the
unofficial.
taxes. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the tax or something. 800 mil. So sorry, Dre. Really not. You're really not, bruh.
You don't know that. How you know exactly how much Dre has in the bank? He makes so much money every year. I'm sure he's doing. I'm sure he's a billionaire. I'm sure he's a billionaire. Dude, the Chronic, that thing sells. That is still probably one of the top selling albums every single year over year. Like that thing it's a classic.
I'll have to listen to it.
That's like Metallica's Black Album. That is still the #1 selling album of all time since like '94. I mean, and that's science. Like that number is confirmed.
I don't think that's confirmed, but
That is confirmed. I think it released today, and I was reading an article about it's still the best-selling album.
Metallica's Black.
Yes.
no, Tim.
Yeah. Dude,
I mean, it might be
fucking
their
lie.
best-selling album because
Yeah, maybe it's their
were
best-selling
terrible, but
Let me reread.
I'm pretty sure Now 4 is still the best-selling album.
yeah.
Now 4.
Followed by Now 3.
That was the one that had NSYNC's Bye 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 on it.
followed by
And it had
Instinct.
Candy
Yes.
by Mandy Moore. It's a really good.
You're right. Maybe the chat. I don't want to look it up, but maybe the chat can confirm Metallica's Black Album, the best-selling album of all time.
Or just list all the tracks from Now 4.
Of all time, no.
There's no way it's all time.
No.
Come on, man.
Michael
Dude.
Jackson probably has 8 albums
Oh,
that are higher
by
selling
fuck, yeah.
than that.
For sure, Michael Jackson does. Katy Perry probably does.
Oh,
Katy
interesting.
Perry.
Here's something on Billboard.com. Maybe you guys have heard of this guy before. Metallica's Black Album hit 16 million. I said, hold on, let me find this. Hold on.
Holding.
The
Where's
album, which
Detox on
continues
that
to be
chart.
the best-selling release of Nielsen SoundScan era, and they are the ones that measure how much something is selling, the albums are selling, has become the first album to sell 60 million copies. And so, since 91. It's the best-selling album of all time, Metallica's Black Album. And I
There's
quit.
no way that is ever possible. Since 91, I guess, is what you're saying.
Since the SoundScan era in 91. Yes.
All right, so that probably rules out a bunch of Michael Jackson albums that are ahead of it.
Those don't count because those weren't, anyways.
Oh,
We don't need to
asterisk.
talk about Metallica.
Asterisk.
I love Barry Bonds. I'm just saying, like, back to
All right. Let's talk about Apple and Beats for a second.
Okay.
Does anyone care that Apple just bought Beats? Oh, by the way, to make this Android related, Beats Music lives on, and there is now an Android app underneath Apple.
And
Cool.
extended trial, right? Didn't they? Aren't they giving everyone a 14-day trial now?
Oh yeah, free week, free
Well,
extra
they've been
week,
doing that
drop the
for-
price a little bit. Say what?
Haven't they been doing that for a while, or is that?
Since the beginning, they give
They-
people a week trial.
No, they're giving you
I
2
think-
Oh,
weeks now.
they extended it. Yeah, it's
ooh,
14
They
days.
extended it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get 2 weeks now, and they knocked like $20 off the yearly price or something. Instead of $120, it's like $99 now. Great deal. Great deal. Yeah. So Apple's buying Beats, and it seems weird to me that they're buying a headphone company that I know they make tons of money, but
Well.
does Apple need to own a headphone company and a music service that really doesn't have that many subscribers and is brand new? I know. I guess Tim Cook said that we didn't have to build our own music service now. They gave us a head start.
Yeah, well, and Andy said that they could have easily done that. So both him, Dre, and I, or I guess not both, but him, Dre, and I have all been talking about how it's about what they can do in the future, not about what they already have. So we'll see. It's a weird acquisition. It's the biggest acquisition they've ever done, including if you adjust for inflation. Apple buying Next back in '97. So it's interesting, I guess. I don't know, but it doesn't I don't think anybody thinks that Beats is the best streaming service.
No.
I think the app is nice. I enjoyed using it. I'm not paying for it.
Right.
So it's interesting, but I think Spotify does a better job. But how much would it cost them to buy Spotify if Spotify would even sell? That's not going to happen. So and RDO appears to be going down too. So I don't know. I think the only possible interesting thing is if they're able to get the full iTunes library on Beats Music, then Beats suddenly becomes the best streaming service because they've got the biggest catalog then. So that's the one thing that keeps me away from streaming services is that they all don't have everything, and iTunes does. So if they're able to do that and get it over on Android, then that's pretty killer.
I
So
don't know
what's
if that's attainable. I'm sorry, and I mean because we were discussing before the show, when a lot of these acquisitions go through, there are clauses in the contracts that relate to licensing, and who knows if Apple will be able to pull that off, if they'll be able to migrate the licensing from service to service. But I just don't understand why they're cannibalizing iTunes. I mean, why? And Beats wasn't all that successful. I mean, their music service wasn't all that successful to begin with, grant you. But does it really make sense to dilute the brand? I mean, Beats. People associate Beats with Beats and Dr. Dre. They don't associate them with Apple. So unless they're going to make that a lot more obvious.
In what way is that cannibalizing iTunes?
Well, I just mean, I guess we talked about this before the show too. It was rumored at one time that Apple was or had plans to bring an iTunes app over to Android, but I guess they could just focus their resources on the Beats app, make that the definitive Apple Music streaming app on devices other than iOS devices, and stick with that strategy. I'm a little confused about the acquisition as well. I'm not really sure what their true intentions are, but
I think we all
it'll be interesting.
sort of confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think Ivy and Dre both bring some heavy negotiation. They're good at doing that to the table. So if they're going to go back to labels and try and do some different stuff with whether it's with iTunes Radio or whatever else, then that's potentially big. Both
Is
press
Apple going
releases.
to build in Beats Music into their phones?
All it does is,
I can't wait till the day they build in a Beats toggle and all the Apple kids go, Beats integration, it's so amazing. When everyone trashed it when HTC did it.
Yeah. Well, and both press releases from Beats and from Apple emphasized Beats Music over Beats headphones. Beats headphones are obviously what is making the whole company profitable. Yeah. But that's what they both emphasized. Both press releases were talking about music specifically, not hardware. I think that's, regardless of what they are planning on working on, I think that's what they're aiming for. I think that's what their goal is. I think that's what they were trying to buy. So that much is interesting. In terms of them like cannibalizing their business, possibly using Beats to take over what iTunes is or whatever, that wouldn't be surprising. Apple does that all the time. The iPhone being the prime example, since that destroyed iPod sales. So that's an okay move as long as it's your product that's cannibalizing your previous product. If it's somebody else doing that, that's when you've got a problem. At which point it's not cannibalization. But
I think what's so weird is that Apple is into. It just seems like whenever they've wanted something or to create a new product, they create products and they make, and everything has their name on it, and they go, look what we did. We did this better than everyone else. When you buy Beats, like it's not like they're going to start making Apple headphones, because I don't think, or like they have this Beats music service, which is clearly one of the big plays, or what was one of the big reasons for buying it. So now you have a music service that says Beats. It doesn't say Apple, or is it going to say Beats by Apple now instead of Beats by Droid? I mean, like, I guess I don't understand. Like, Apple's so known for creating products and designing them and being so proud of stuff they've done, and then they just bought a company that already has like its own identity and its own sort of. It's got this whole area carved out in headphones for one, but now speakers it's doing as well, and then now they have this music service. So I guess it'll be interesting to see what Apple does in terms of branding and how they sort of work their way into those new services products. But I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
It's definitely weird. They've never done an acquisition of that size. They've never done an acquisition where they don't fold a company into themselves. Like, all of this is weird and not very well explained by them. So we'll see what happens. So, but it depends on no matter what I think it was Benedict Evans was tweeting this. If you're not following Benedict Evans, you should, because he does a lot of great stuff talking about Android numbers and tablet sales across the world and everything else like that. But no matter what your view is of Apple, you can easily look at the Beats acquisition to fill in your view of it. If you think that Apple's on its way down, then you can say, well, yeah, that's why they bought Beats, because they're going insane and doing weird things. Or if you think Apple's still doing good things, and you can say, yeah, well, you can look at it in a good light. The reality is we don't know what they're going to do with it. So we'll see. We'll see in a couple of years.
The crazy thing is, like, how much cash? Does anybody just know offhand how much cash Apple has just hanging around? Because like $3 billion is probably nothing.
They have like 150 billion.
Yeah, a lot of it is off seas.
Those Swedish bank accounts, Ron. Is that where it's all at?
Those are
well,
going
they
to
don't
place.
have to pay taxes on it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So that drops.
I'll hold on to it for me.
But they have so much money that even though this is the biggest acquisition ever for them, it's like nothing.
This is a drop in the bucket for Apple. I think. Man, it's nothing.
Which is kind of crazy to think. $3 billion for Dre. Good job, Dre.
I don't think we want to promote the idea that Apple bought Dre. Pretty sure that's slavery.
Wow, I didn't really think of it like that. Good job, Jimmy. You too. They bought Jimmy. Yeah.
That's racist.
Really puts the WhatsApp acquisition into perspective.
How much
Well,
did
but all these, like, there's been a lot of talk about that, which is a little bit more Android related. It's just like how we're seeing these companies make these huge, giant acquisitions, and a lot of people thinking that might be a bubble, that we have this app bubble going on, just like we had the website bubble in the early 2000s, so in late 90s, and that's like, seeing Instagram buy or Facebook buy Instagram for $1 billion, and then WhatsApp for $15 billion. It's, Microsoft buying Skype and things like that. Like, we're definitely in the midst of like this platform war that's still going on, where these few companies are still gobbling everything up. Just like we've seen with media. Now it's just happening on the internet side.
Yeah, there's no chance those companies are worth that much. I mean, no matter the number of users, honestly.
Yeah, I don't see how WhatsApp was ever valued at that much money, but
WhatsApp, no, because they weren't making that much. Beats is a little bit more, because it's like, okay, well, you were bought for $3 billion, and you're making about $1 billion in profit a year, so that covers you for 3 years, like that.
That makes sense. Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah. So, but WhatsApp, as far as I know, wasn't. I mean, I think they were maybe profitable, but they weren't. I mean, they were charging like $1 a year,
something like that.
Off.
Something
Like it can't have been substantial. So
Yeah. Yeah. So who knows what Apple's got up their sleeve? They've done some weird things in the last few years. So this might just be another one, or maybe they've got some crazy plan. Hopefully
I think
for
Instagram is worth more than $1 billion in my eyes.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
by now for sure.
By
when
now,
did
what
they
is that?
buy Instagram?
2012.
Okay. I'm just saying back then maybe it was. I mean it was still
Even then,
fairly
it was a
new.
big deal.
Yeah, if they had waited a little longer, someone would have come around and bought them for like $1 trillion, I
Yeah.
think.
If it was still iOS only when they bought it, maybe that would have been a little ridiculous. But
Yeah, because didn't they just go to Android and then then Facebook bought them like the next week or something like that?
Hmm.
It's really close.
no, it wasn't that soon. I don't think.
Maybe not. It was close, but
I'm googling.
Big ads?
Okay, they
Yeah.
launched in 2010 originally.
Oh.
April 2012, they went to Android, and they were bought. They were acquired in April 2012.
Yeah, it was like within the same week or something. Because I think I remember making
Yeah.
a comment about how Instagram was just waiting until they went on Android, so they were worth more or something like that. Yeah, it was really close.
And then November 2013, it officially went into beta for Windows Phone 8.
Yeah.
And there it sits.
And then their price sunk down to like 200 million.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, Apple is officially buying Beats, and yeah, everyone go watch the Dr. Dre Tyrese video because it's awesome. On June 18th, I believe, T-Mobile is going to go through Uncarrier 5.0, and I have absolutely no predictions whatsoever. Does anyone have any guesses on what T-Mobile's next move is? I feel like they've kind of tried to change everything that could be changed. All they said in their press invite was, "We don't play it safe and sound." Anyone have any guesses what T-Mobile's up to? I think I have no idea.
No. At first I thought it was something to do with music because it took place right after the Beats thing. And I was
And
like,
it's in LA, yeah.
ooh, safe and sound. I was like, ooh, sound, music. Maybe they're going to have Metallica play the Black Album. The greatest selling album of all time. But
It's not even.
I don't know. They've already done so much. They're gaining
Metallica or T-Mobile?
subscribers. Metallica. They're
Clearly
gaining
Metallica.
subscribers. They're just doing. How much can you shake it up? You know, they're going to shake it until everything falls apart, and even they're screwed. So, I don't have any real guess as to what they're doing now.
Anybody else?
No
What
one
would
else.
you want T-Mobile to do? Is there anything left that you hate about your carrier or your plan or something that you need to see change or go away?
If T-Mobile announced, "Hey, we've got the exact same coverage as Verizon now,"
That would be
interesting.
very uncarrier of them. We have LTE where you live.
So they just announced Vio LTE in Seattle. They just announced one Vio LTE market just so they could be first, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah,
Did you guys see
Seattle.
that? They announced that one market, and then AT&T launched like the next day or something in their tiny couple of markets, and T-Mobile like sent out some tweet and something else that said, "See, AT&T, we beat you again." It's like you launched one market in Seattle. Like you could grow up a
1-0.
little bit, T-Mobile. Yeah.
1-0, Kellen. I mean, it's on the scoreboard. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I guess.
It made John LeCarre happy, and that's all that
Good
matters.
job, T-Mobile. Yeah.
Good job, Metallica.
And I'm reading Metallica articles now.
Billboard.com.
All right, so we have no idea what T-Mobile's doing. Okay.
and still probably don't care.
Probably not.
I would lean towards the not care. I care. Well, just as a consumer, I don't really care. Definitely because I don't use T-Mobile. I would be concerned less or less concerned if it was anything to do with Sprint. I officially do
Subjectively
not.
concerned.
Yeah.
Correct. I officially don't care about Sprint, and that's my story. I'll stick to that.
But Sprint Spark has so much potential.
Sprint Spark.
Yeah, I was on Spark with the One Max back when I was reviewing that, and I couldn't even tweet a tweet. So
Oh no.
I cannot stand Spark. I can't stand Sprint. I mean, it must just be my area. I'm sure some people rely on
not.
Sprint, and they got
It's not
Kevin
it.
Durant on the family plan. I can't.
Can Kevin Durant join our family?
I love that kid's voice.
I love that kid
So
too. Yeah.
weird.
I hate those commercials, but I think that kid's funny. All right, so yeah, that's happening June 18th. I guess we'll all be surprised when T-Mobile announces. Hopefully, it's not a Harman Kardon edition, Galaxy S5 or something.
Oh, gee. Harman card.
Google revealed their self-driving car. Sorry, we're not really talking that much Android stuff. There's just not much going on other than the G3. So Google announced or revealed they have this new little self-driving car. No steering wheel, no pedals, just a big display that is maybe a touchscreen tablet or something, and a start button. Kind
And a
of
stop
cool.
button, importantly.
And a stop button. So, yeah, they made their own little electric car. It goes, Kyle, what does it go, like 25 miles per hour or something like that?
Yep, that's the max speed. And it has a maximum range of 100 miles per, 100 miles. It's electric.
Okay. Such a googly little
Wow,
car.
this thing sounds stupid.
Yeah, it has a little smile. It's cute, right?
It does have
face.
a little face. They even got little rims on it. So this car, they're going to try to test them more widely or something in the next year. Kyle, tell us everything there is to know about the Google self-driving car.
Not much. It's just something they revealed at the Code conference that Recode is hosting. So they just said it's a prototype. They hope to begin manned test later this year into next year. And their ultimate goal is to roll out a pilot program in the next few years with, just off the street folks. I don't know if that'll happen, if that's realistic with how the laws are now, but I don't know. It's awesome, and I really wish autonomous vehicles will become the norm soon. But I don't know. There's just too much that has to be nailed down legislatively and even technically, because I was reading about the self-driving project not too long ago, and it still doesn't do well in the rain when it's raining, and they've never been tested in snow. So Google isn't quite there, but they've made impressive progress. I mean, they've racked up over 700,000 miles with these cars without an accident. So I don't know. They're definitely further than any other company right now.
Yeah, kind of cool stuff. I like the notes they made about no more drunken driving and no more distracted driving and stuff like that, because you can just sit in your car. Like you could go party and then just get in your little car and say, "Take me home." Yeah,
and this can help the blind and the elderly.
Yeah,
of course.
That stuff too. Yeah.
And one important point about this car that everyone was pointing out is that this is the first car that is not one that Google has repurposed. They actually contracted a manufacturer to make it. They're not saying who, but that's a significant step for them.
Whoever made the Nexus Q, probably.
Right, because it'll go nowhere. They'll just give it away for free to everyone who pre-orders.
Repurpose Nexus Qs. Well, that's cool that they're making these little self-driving cars. I would like to ride in one. It would probably scare me. Not gonna lie, it'd probably scare me.
Especially because there's no steering wheel, brake, or gas. Like, something bad happens, you're screwed.
Yeah, at least in those Lexus self-driving cars, you could like hammer on the brake if you need to, or probably grab the steering wheel. Yeah, this thing, you are putting your life in its hands.
The models they're testing, apparently, they look like this on the outside, but they do have a wheel and accelerator. And brake, because that's a law in California now. You have to have some kind of control mechanism to stop the car if need be, or take control.
Google doesn't care about the law.
No, they never.
Well, they want to buy their island somewhere. And
Here's the law.
Without laws and
Sergey's Island.
Let's go crazy.
Yeah, Netflix next year.
Just have cute little bubble cars driving around their own island. That's awesome. All right, so you guys want to do a couple Q&A?
Yeah, we got to do Q&A.
Then we can kind of wrap up. There's not much else going on. All right, opening Q&A. If you haven't submitted questions, do so now.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Tim.
I'm sorry.
Are you though?
I am. I didn't even think about it, man. I have to tell everyone, I'm a little exhausted. I didn't sleep at all yesterday. We had a very long day. We were traveling. I slept like crap last night. I don't even remember falling asleep. I laid down, and then all of a sudden I woke up and it was time for work. And I was like, I hate that feeling. I'm just like, oh, tired all day. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So yeah, questions.
Yeah, I'm
Let's do
looking.
it.
I'm reading through. Sorry. Well, somebody pointed out that today there was this random picture that was purportedly a Moto X Plus One with a 5+ inch screen, and it was on like a Chicago subway or a train or something. I don't really know what to make of it. It looks like a phone in a dummy box. It looked like a Motorola phone, but it's such a terrible picture you can't make anything out. So my thoughts are, it looks like a terrible picture that I can't make anything out from.
I think we could. We can actually make a little something out. There was some Twitter beef going on today between two individuals.
Hype beast.
Hype beast. One guy said that it was completely indistinguishable, like you couldn't tell anything. Yet I beg to differ. In the top left corner, you can make out that little Motorola logo that they've been putting on all their new devices. So for me, confirmed. It's definitely a Moto phone. But whether it's a new Droid or a new Moto X Plus One, who knows exactly? But
Just think about that. It could be a new Droid.
It could be a new Droid.
Has the Droid 5 come out yet?
No.
No, you would know if it
It
had.
did happen. The QWERTY is officially dead.
If the Droid 5 comes out, I'll switch back to Android.
He'll switch back.
The
He'll
QWERTY
only
is
switch
not
back
dead.
to the Droid 5.
Physical keyboards are more accurate, don't you know?
Yeah.
That's true.
I remember when
You need
people
that
hung
physical
on to
keyboard.
those. I remember people really hung on to physical keyboards. There's probably still a couple
Literally.
around. We should run a poll on that. Do you have a phone with a physical keyboard? And just see how low the number
If
is?
so, why?
Yeah, and if so, why are you hanging on to that? Because it's not faster.
Maybe they like the shortcuts, the keyboard shortcuts.
That's got to be a yes. They love shortcuts. This is an interesting question. It's probably totally inappropriate. If you could date a current Android smartphone, which would it be? And read the guy's question. It's totally inappropriate. The Note 3, a really tall but slightly awkward brunette who dyed her hair blonde in a what?
In a very obvious way.
Very obvious way.
Not a good dad job.
Super janky in bed.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Kind of hot.
That is brilliant.
I don't even see that question. What are you talking about?
I just pinned it up top.
Yeah, it's a
A
top.
plus for creativity.
I don't have
Yeah, seriously, plus one that just for the creativity.
Oh, wow.
Okay, looking for more. You
We're not
guys
going
just
to
keep enjoying that. Okay, yeah. Do you guys have an answer for that? If you could date a current Android phone,
Date?
Yeah.
Like long term?
think of it as a sex symbol. Why would you date? No, you don't even have to go there. Yeah, long term. No, it doesn't have to be long term.
Is this like a week fling?
You
Like,
could have
is this like a review unit, or is it something I'm keeping?
Yeah, do I want
contract?
something built for the long haul or built for, short and sweet?
I
Like,
guess
can I buy it off contract,
Can you have a quickie with an Android phone?
or am I stuck on a 3-year Canadian contract? Like, what's the
Jeez.
Can you prepay? No.
can I subscribe to Jump so I can move to the next model if I want to?
Yeah, what if my data gets throttled? That's what I was thinking. Anyways,
Yeah, I'll find another one. Oh boy, here's something.
that question is terrible.
If you could recommend a phone right now, essentially, what would it be? Or would you recommend waiting for something like the new Moto X? Seeing as I liked the original Moto X so much, I would almost tell people to hold off for right now. I guess it depends on what you need, but I liked the Moto X from last year so much, it was my favorite phone. I would say potentially wait. We could see the new Moto X in the next 2 months. So, I mean, if you can wait 2 months, wait 2 months. If you need a phone right now, that's tough.
Go get the R2D2 Droid on eBay.
So I ordered one just because I wasn't about to fork out the overpriced $800 they wanted for it initially back in the day, and it's totally not the real deal. Like the back plate, well, the phone works, and the top portion is clearly from R2D2 units, and then the actual back battery cover is just a white back cover.
That was in the description.
It was, yeah.
It's true.
It's just disappointing.
Doesn't it come preloaded with the sounds though?
All
And
the
the
Star
sweet
Wars wallpapers.
I didn't even boot it up, so I don't know.
Well, you said it worked, so we assumed you had booted it up.
Yeah. We're gonna see that on eBay soon.
Oh, yeah. I didn't actually test to see if it worked.
Oh, you should boot it up and pull the
I don't-
wallpapers.
I don't even know where it is actually.
I think you should do the full review of it.
Full review.
Retro
Fake
review.
backplate.
I was really bummed because I got the Droid 2 before that came out. I was already on contract. I really wanted to get it.
I remember when they were hosting parties around the country to
Yeah.
celebrate the launch of that.
Oh my.
I don't think no one went. They had one here in Portland, I think, and we didn't even bother to stop by to cover it. So.
So weird.
They had a big one in San Francisco. I think that came out when I was still living down there, and that was like the R2D2 release was kind of a big thing because the Verizon store downtown, like on Market Street, had a big old gathering of Ewoks and
Didn't it line
stormtroopers.
up with like a Star Wars anniversary or something? I think that's how they were trying to sort of do it.
Something. It was silly.
Oh, here's an easier question. How did the two-tone front of the G3 look in person? You want to answer that, Tim?
Yeah, well, as I was saying in the chat just a second ago, I fell in love with the white one. While I do realize that the G2 looked really nice with the all-black front. It was kind of like that Infinity look, kind of what you get with the black front-facing the Moto X. But the two-tone was actually really hot. I didn't mind it at all because your eye just isn't even on that part. It was all on the display because it's so massive and in your face. G3, the two-tone was all right. I will admit the gunmetal gray, as they're calling the black, it's not black. It's gunmetal gray. It looks just like the 1M8.
Mm-hmm.
And
Metallica black.
Metallica black. It's not that black.
I don't think they're
And-
selling 16 million G3s.
No, not yet. So, yeah, and that what I was trying to say is the gunmetal gray one was pretty boring, actually. It looks like a pretty plain phone. I think for some reason, like because the M1M8 and the gunmetal gray is actually metal, and it kind of feels like metal. It just looks better. I don't know how that translates, but either way, the white G3 looks awesome. The gold one didn't even look that bad. I took a few pictures of the gold one. It was a dummy unit, but still, same color you're gonna get, and it was actually kind of cool too. So if you guys actually like the gray, go for it. But I would recommend the white to anyone who I loved. So
Yeah, I like the white version better. The gold was and the gray is just black, or whatever it's supposed to be called. The gray, it just looks like a cheaper version of the 1M8.
How are gold phones still a thing?
I have no idea. That's a great question. They are all pretty much ugly.
yeah.
They are. Yeah, I don't like any of them. Actually, I take that back. The 1M8 gold is actually not bad looking.
See,
Really?
Pulling it out right now.
he's pulling it out. Oh, that
It's
sounds
in the
terrible.
package still. We should probably give this thing away. Because it's not... You can't
Have you
tell
booted it?
on the camera.
That's pretty subtle.
Yeah, I think so.
It is kind of subtle.
It is. Yeah, it's not... I think do they call it champagne
whatever.
gold? Is this champagne gold? Yeah.
Well,
It's
I
actually
don't-
not. It's not bad.
Isn't that what the iPhone color is? I mean, maybe they just...
I don't know. This one's not bad looking though. I kind of wish I could use it, but I don't know why I'm not. All right. Anyway, is there any other questions? No? All right. It's already 7 o'clock. All right. Do we have any apps or games we want to whip through? Oh, I just wanted to point out that app called Peak, which originally started with Paranoid Android, I believe, and it is sort of like the Moto X's active display. It's now available for anyone. No root required, no ROM required, and it shows you notifications on your lock screen. You can customize which apps you want to show, all that stuff. It's kind of a cool little app. It was initially posted, then pulled, and then I believe it's still live now. It is not cheap, though. It is $409. So,
You said it's not cheap. I thought it was going to be $15.
come on.
Remember
We're
that,
talking to
uh,
Android people here,
Wait,
Ron.
remember
I know.
that 3D launcher that was $15, the TFT one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, TF Shell Pro,
Yeah, oh my God.
TSF Shell Pro,
Very
something like that.
astonishing. Right.
Thank God they had the longer refund period then.
God, that thing sucked.
It's so bad. It's yeah. That was not a good launcher.
No.
What was the launcher that was like on Kickstarter?
Why?
Kickstarter.
I
I
just
don't
want
know.
Launcher Pro, guys. Let's go back to the good days.
No.
Rewrite.
I forget what it was. It was a launcher on Kickstarter, and it was like a big deal. And
What
now
launcher do you guys use?
Nova.
Yeah. I just haven't decided to change anything. Like I have it set up, and I just don't need to change at this point. It does what I need it to do.
Nova's great.
Stock. I just stick with AOSP.
Wait, aren't...
Stock.
You're running a ROM then.
Yeah, I am.
okay.
I was gonna say because that G2 launcher
Yeah,
is
it's ugly.
yeah.
No, there's no way I'd keep the G2 if I had to deal with that.
You're such a hater, Kyle. How could you say that?
How could you say such?
Their
thing?
hardware is good, their UI sucks. So I'm just being blatantly honest here.
Being
Yeah,
a little
they're
too
good.
honest.
UI's not great. I would agree.
Hey.
Anybody have any other apps?
Yes, I have an app. The app I would like to discuss today, I have a link. There it is. For everyone. The link is called. The app is called Red Herring, and I like word games, and I fancy myself a street smart kind of guy. I've read some books, and in Red Herring, there's easy, medium, and hard. And so the objective of the game is to get all of the words that belong in the same category together. And there will be 4 words listed in this grid tile setup that don't belong. So say there's like bears, tigers, and Bengals. And then you'd have to think, and you have to say, oh, these are all like sports teams' names. And then there's other words, and those are kitchen utensils, and you have to get all the categories and then figure out which ones don't belong. And then it keeps going and on and on and on. The game is free. It's actually really fun. It's super simple. It's probably the quickest app that person has ever written. Probably took them 5 minutes. But either way, there is like 50 levels for free, and then I think each additional 50 levels, they come in like packs, so I think it kind of based around whatever categories you want to do, and they cost $1 each. But definitely give it a try. I mean, it's free, so why not, you know? Give it a try. It's free. Red Herring. Try it out.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Anything else? There's not a lot going on. It's kind of the calm before the IO WWDC storm. WWDC next week?
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
WWDC. We will definitely be live blogging that live stream.
Oh, yeah.
Always. Love those.
Biggest day of the year.
I'm a little
Big one.
upset because I'm trying to figure out what launcher I'm talking about. I'm sure someone out there knows.
Someone
It's a
said Chameleon launcher. Is that not what you were thinking of?
Chameleon? Oh, I think that is it.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
terrible.
whoever said that gets 5 internets.
Wasn't that kind of like the Aviate launcher that Amazon bought, or was it
It
something?
was.
It is Chameleon.
It was like Chameleon worked in squares, kind of, and pages. It wasn't smart though.
Oh,
like
now I
Aviate was.
remember. It was kind of
Yeah.
like built for tablets, right?
Yeah, it was originally built for tablets, and then they
Yeah.
tried to push it onto phones, and it was not a good launcher.
It was
I
like
tried to use it a couple times.
they made it for multitasking, if I remember.
Yeah, you could have different setups for home and work and whatnot.
Yeah, it was all about these sweet-looking widgets, except there was like 5 widgets. And
Yeah,
it's
there
like-
was 5.
So-
Yeah,
And it
But they
cost
were
like
all-
20. It cost like either $10 or $20 when it first launched, and it just sucked. Like right now, it has more 1-star ratings than anything, and that's ridiculous. So
oh, is it still available?
it's
Yeah.
still available,
Like, what was it, $3 for...
and now it's $2.91. Here, everyone, buy this link in the chat.
Oh, it's $4.
For
Chameleon.
the tablet and phone.
Oh, you can. Oh, I see.
Chameleon
Phones.
launcher for phones $2.91. $2.99.
Oh, $2.91. Yeah, that's weird. Their website says $2.99.
Oh,
but it's
gotcha.
two
Either
and
way,
a-
it's
like
rated
2 and a
very
quarter
well.
stars. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was on Kickstarter. I think.
Interesting.
That's why Kickstarter sucks.
Poor Kickstarter. Tim always hating on Kickstarter. What about TSF Shell? What's that at now? Is that still like $20?
It's 11 something, 11 and some change, I think. I just checked.
Chameleon Launcher got $66,000 on Kickstarter. Refund my money. Ridiculous.
TSF Shell.
$12, about $12.
Yeah.
Huh. It was
Isn't
15
launcher,
though, right? Initially.
Yeah. Isn't
It
your
looks so
launcher really
terrible.
worth more than $5? I mean, Nova Launcher's free. I bought the premium, but it is free available, and you just don't get all the special stuff. I don't think any launcher is really worth that much.
No.
Well,
It's ridiculous.
Not if they're this terrible. There's another one that I tried for a while that was interesting that it had like flip up actions when you swiped around. I can't remember what that was called though. There was a few of them that were all like $10-12.
Yeah, there was a launcher craze for a while. Oh, maybe it was SPB Shell.
ooh, that sounds
All these weird.
SPB sounds familiar. SPB Shell 3D. There it is.
Yeah.
So there's TSF Shell 3D launcher and
Oh,
SPB
wow.
Shell 3D.
SPB is what I was
that's the
originally
one.
thinking of.
What do
Yeah.
these acronyms stand for? I mean.
TSF's not as bad as SPB. SPB's the really bad one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is
It has
that?
weird,
TSF just looks like iOS 5.
Fine.
Yeah.
SPB was the one that you could spin, right?
Yeah. You can
That
do it on
kinetic
both. They're both
spinning
3D.
constraints.
Yeah.
Wow, it's still $15.
I haven't tried Next Launcher 3D Shell, which is also $17.
$17?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. What is
Wow.
going on?
And it looks like the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, that's my new launcher right there.
Now you have to get an Android phone first, Ron.
That'll bring you back to
I
Android.
put it on the
All
motor.
these great
Boot up the
launchers.
Razr. Oh, that's right. Still rocking the X. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're just rambling on about overpriced launchers now.
Sorry.
That's what people want.
I know, that's exactly what people want.
Last week it was cat food. This week it's overpriced launchers.
Yeah, Tim, do we have any life lessons to be learned on food? Or
Any new pizza places to avoid?
I don't know. No, I don't really have any tips. Never take a middle seat on a plane. That's the worst seat. I don't know if people
That is the
probably
worst seat.
already know
That's
this.
common sense.
The middle seat sucks.
I thought you had a Domino's pizza advice yesterday. Maybe not. If you do one thing great, don't suck at it like Domino's. Remember what you said?
Yeah. If you have like one thing to do, which is just make pizza, like just don't be bad at it. Like make a good pizza. Except I don't know what I was referring to. That was an analogy or a metaphor for something.
It was
I just don't
subjective.
remember.
Analogy.
metaphor.
It's not a metaphor.
Okay,
It
whatever.
was a
Dude.
subjective metaphor, Ron.
You know what's good? You know what's good is that you knew what I was trying to say. That's all that matters. So
That's okay.
I know you have to work at it to understand, but
Yeah.
Any news on the Razer Naboo, Tim?
nope, no news at all. I sent out that tweet. I had like one reply, and one was like, "Oh yeah, what happened?"
That
I don't
product
know,
is
that's why
never
I'm asking
coming to
you
market.
guys.
That product is officially dead, I think. That's my guess.
Well, the last thing we heard was that it was in testing for the hypoallergenic stuff.
Yeah, which means it's just gone. They realized they can't.
Yeah.
Ron hates me.
That was a lie.
It probably
All right,
was.
Tweet at Ron Afringa. I hate you, Ron. I hate you, Ron.
People are actually going to do that now, Tim. That was not very nice.
It's fine.
What the heck, man?
His clout score will go up.
Let's see what my cloud score is. This is a good show ender.
This is getting great.
Okay, let's see. I thought cloud doesn't do scores anymore.
What
Oh,
other
they
random
do.
crap can we
They
talk
do.
about? Do we have a Droid Life Cloud score?
Yeah, Droid Life has, I think, 2 points more than me. I think they're at like 71.
I'm at 48.
48.
48.
Get any good perks recently? I got 50 free business cards.
Wow.
Yeah, I got that. I
That's
got a free Gillette Fusion Pro Glide razor.
Ooh.
I know, and I get McDonald's gift cards like nobody's business. And I've been tweeting about it. I love Mickey D's.
I wonder
And they always want me to buy their chicken wings or whatever. I'm not buying
Chicken nuggets.
chicken nuggets. Thanks.
Yeah, the chicken wings, I think, are dead, aren't they, at McDonald's? Officially dead.
Well, like the.
I don't think they're alive anymore.
Well, they're
Yeah.
definitely dead.
Okay. I think I'm just going to wrap this thing up.
Wrap it up. I'm trying to find Droid Life on Cloud.
I know. I was kind of waiting for that.
It's not easy to do, to be honest. Like,
What do you mean?
The search is all based on.
Why are you doing search? Watch.
Prove me wrong, Ron.
I'm doing it right now.
I know you are. You always are.
By the way,
Knock it up.
Shania Twain apparently sold 29.6 million copies.
Boom, found it.
Over.
Droid Life is 68 on cloud.
So it's 1 point above me. Time to.
Wait, okay, I'm confused. How is Metallica at 16 million, and that's a big deal? But Shania Twain's "Come On Over" came out in '97, and she sold 29.6 million.
Only singles, though, or
is
is that the whole album?
I don't actually know that.
It's a good
I
song.
thought it would be.
It's
album.
a good song.
Was that a self-titled? Is that an album? Is that a self-titled? Whatever I'm trying to say.
Oh, it might be actually. That was the free song of the day not too long ago, and I think it is.
It's a free song of the day. By the way, rest in peace, free song of the day.
Yeah.
Aw.
Isn't that dead on Google Play?
Yes. It's totally dead.
I wonder how long we can
Discography
just
for
continue to
Shania
talk
Twain.
about Random Crow. Metallica.
So
That's
Come On Over
Self-titled
was.
and Woman in Me, then Come On. Oh no, Come On Over, 1997.
yeah. See, your Billboard story is completely wrong.
Yeah, dude, you're lying.
Billboard's line. I'm sorry. I read terrible sites.
Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill, 24.8 million. Came out in '95.
Oh,
I mean, I'm just killing the Black Album right now.
don't kill it.
Mariah Carey Music Box. I'm on Wikipedia, which is the 100% legit source for music news.
But not if Droid Life exists.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on. Let me edit that Wikipedia article.
Yeah, one more thing
Yeah, really. Let me just
before
tweak
you
that a
guys
little bit.
take off. Do you guys ever get weird stories on Google now because of things you search for, like things from bad sites or anything on
Oh,
Google
yeah.
now?
That's all I get from Google.
All the time.
Damn you, Ronald. So I always search for Android on Google Clear. So the latest thing I got was from a site called Christian Today, and they say Nexus program slashed, Android Silver the future, or something like that. And I was like, what are these people talking about?
The
And
Christian Today site.
yeah, and these guys have dedicated like Android writers, and they have no idea what they're talking about. It's
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of those, like
Sounds
IB
about right.
Times and there's.
I think I've stumbled upon Christian Today before. All they write is garbage.
Can I just
they're
say
the-
that the biggest thing I hate about Google Plus is the random invites to terrible communities that I get all the time. Do you guys get those, where people just invite you to a? Okay, I just need to shut that off. I think.
Yeah, sounds like
I
it.
think that's a feature.
Mike Buzz.
The chat just died, by the way. I don't know if you guys noticed that. They have nothing to say.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, chat. We're just hanging out at this point. Okay, I'm gonna shut this off now.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. This was episode 60. 6-0.
6-0 in the books.
We'll
Bye,
be
Ron.
back
Bye, Tim.
probably next week with 61. Bye, Kyle. Bye, Kyle. Bye. All right, bye.